shiny, so taking all the light just a bit.
All right. Good evening, everyone, and welcome. Welcome. This is the first live that we're having here on the F.A.I.T.H Foundation. As you know, March is Endometriosis Awareness Month, and today is also International Women's Day. So happy International Women's Day to all our viewers, all our female viewers who are looking on, and a special hello to all our endometriosis sisters. Welcome, welcome, welcome in on the live. I'm looking in to see if anyone is here as yet. You know, this is the first time that the F.A.I.T.H Foundation is starting the YouTube channel, and it's such a privilege to be here this evening to share just a little bit of my story and my journey with the F.A.I.T.H Foundation. So I'm looking in to see if you're here. Comment in the chat, let me know where you're looking from. All right. And first of all, I'd like to give thanks. Endometriosis has been a really difficult struggle for me. And I'd like to give thanks to God, to my husband, to my family, to my friends, and a special thank you to all of the donors, everyone who contributed to my journey. I've had multiple surgeries over the last few years, and the last year has been especially difficult. And I just want to thank you. And can you dedicate a live? I don't know. But I'd like to dedicate this live to you, all my supporters, because without you, I really would not have been here to smile and give thanks and spend this evening here with you, this International Women's Day evening, talking a little bit about endometriosis and my journey with it so far. So I'm wearing yellow. I hope that those at home, my endo sisters, are also wearing yellow, because yellow is the color of endometriosis. Okay, I have so much to say, but as I said this evening, I'm just going to spend about half hour with you talking about our theme. So the theme came to me yesterday, and it's finding your womanhood through endometriosis. And I put it into Google just to see if there were any books or anything like it. And this is what AI gave to me. It refers to the process of coming to terms with your identity as a woman while navigating the challenges and complexities of living with endometriosis, which can significantly impact your physical and emotional well-being, often leading to a deep exploration of your body, your pain, and ultimately shaping your understanding of what it means to be a woman in the face of chronic condition. Y'all got all of that, right? So coming to terms with your identity as a woman in the face of chronic illness. So you're probably wondering, for those who don't know, what exactly is endometriosis? That's a kind of a big word. If I had to sum up endometriosis in one word, it will just be pain. Debilitating, excruciating pain. In the book Heal Endo by Katie Edmonds, here is her definition of endometriosis. It is an inflammatory condition rooted in immune dysfunction. And although endo is affected by estrogen, please note it's not caused by estrogen. And even though the symptoms are linked and often related to our menstrual cycle, it is systemic, meaning it's a full body disease. So persons are saying full body disease, so it's not just bad cramps. No, it's not just bad cramps. It's more than a bad period. So we all have different symptoms, and some of them may be confusing to us and to the doctors. And that's because we are faced with chronic inflammation. And in order to understand endometriosis, you need to understand that you're dealing with your immune system. I say your immune system gone rogue, your body fighting itself. You're dealing with chronic inflammation, and that's something you need to understand in order to understand endometriosis. So, what was one of the most difficult things for me in accepting endometriosis as part of my life was really accepting that the thing that made me a woman, you get your menstrual cycle, your period. Mine came at 10 years old, so I was still in primary school. I was 10 years old. And when that happened, it's supposed to be an exciting time. Okay, you got your period. Okay, you're looking forward to womanhood, developing, and one day starting a family, having children, etc. But you never really know how it was gonna come off. So I did my university studies abroad in France, for those of you who know me. And when I came back, I was 24 years old, started my new job, really excited to get into life. And at age 24, I was suddenly struck down. I mean, one day I was literally good, and the next day I was struck down with debilitating pain and had to leave the office early, not knowing what was wrong with me. So, and it took so many years to get diagnosed because you're going to doctor, and it's like, what is wrong with you? Just take the pill. By the way, the pill is not going to solve your problem. It's just a plaster. But we'll get into that another time. Doctors say, just take the pill. Just take some painkillers. You will be fine. And it was difficult over the years because now I'm 40 years old. When that started happening, so it's 16 years, trying to accept that my period that I'm supposed to have every month, and it's supposed to be a relatively happy time, pain-free time, because pain is not normal. It turned out to be like the worst time of my life. And when I say the worst time of my life, I mean the worst time of my life. Contemplating, is this life really worth living? Because this pain is just way too bad. So that was one of the most difficult things for me, accepting that this happened to me, and that the thing that was supposed to make me into a woman and probably blossom into motherhood was the same thing that was literally trying to kill me. Yeah, kind of difficult, but that was one of the things. So this evening, we're pondering on our theme a little bit on the journey, finding your womanhood, and not just finding it, but loving it, being happy in it. And I just have a few tips I wanted to share with you this evening. The first tip is understanding your body. Understanding your body, accepting that something is not quite right. I remember I spoke about chronic inflammation, and trying to find expert help, seeking ways to manage your pain. There are different things that you can do, and there's something called pelvic floor therapy that we don't hear much about. So I do encourage you to get to know your body, understand what endometriosis really is, and how you can find ways to adapt. It's not easy, trust me. Easier said than done, but that's my number one tip. Understand your body, understand endometriosis. It took me, I would say, the last 15 years doing research, really trying to understand what this thing is about and why has it affected so many organs of my body. Because people hear endometriosis and they think just period. But it can affect your lungs in my case, it can affect your bowel also in my case, and other parts of your body, your bladder, your kidney, as in my case. And the list can go on and on and on. All right, moving on to tip number 2, and that will be advocate for yourself. Take an active role in managing your health and educate others and your family about endometriosis. So sometimes people might not understand what you're going through. And only an endometriosis sister, as we call each other, can truly understand. Because honestly, a woman who has not had a painful period, just they probably take 2 Panadol or nothing at all, and I come and go in 3 days, cannot truly understand the torture, the literal torture that endometriosis is. So advocate for yourself, whether it's with the doctors, with your family, your friends. Be empowered. Knowledge is power. And sometimes don't be disappointed if other people may not understand because they cannot truly understand. All right, so we're moving right along on to tip number 3, and that is redefining your womanhood and your femininity. There are a lot of high social expectations, for women. Of course, go to school. One of them is get married. The other one is have children. And there's a heavy pressure on women in general to get married and have children. But the reality is, some of us are faced with such chronic illness, it affects our well being, it affects our fertility. And when persons come and they talk to you about it, they are sometimes insensitive. So they just expect, okay, you're a woman, you get married, but give the man a child now. Yeah? Oh gosh, make your parents grandparents now. But they don't know the daily, the weekly, the monthly, the yearly, and I could say over more than a decade of pain and suffering that you have been going through just to stay alive, to survive. That children is not really on your mind because you're just trying to survive, you yourself. So that, one of the things we'd like people to be a little more sensitive when you speak to not just women with endometriosis, but women on a whole who are suffering from whether it's PCOS, fibroids, or other causes of infertility that you may not be aware about. Be a little sensitive. Just ask them, how are you going today? Anything I can support with? How are you coping with endometriosis? Would you like to go out, go to the beach? Something to take your mind off of the pain? That will be more helpful. Yeah. So, with endometriosis, when you're navigating this thing called womanhood, if I could say a thing, it comes a time, well, definitely in my case, an official time where you say, okay, that ship has sailed, and biological motherhood was not for me. It did not work out. And you have to deal with your emotions. I know I'm just saying it very simply. Um, it's something that can be very disappointing. But, you look on the positive aspects in your life. And in my case, I have a stepson. My husband has nieces and nephews who I also mother. As teachers, we're also mothers. So that's something that you have to embrace, so to say, when the ship has sailed. It's like, okay, this is not going to happen. And I'll have to deal with my feelings, deal with my disappointment, grieve even for that loss of me, that loss of womanhood that did not materialize as you thought. What else we can look to? Coping mechanisms. How can you cope? You know, and embracing your strength and resilience in the face of adversity. So that's one thing I wanted to talk about. And if we go on to number 4, dealing with your emotions. Sometimes you are down, right? I know what it is to be down and out. I know what it is to suffer. I know what it is to be in pain. And I am so sorry for all my endo sisters who are in pain and hurting and sometimes not sure who to talk to because you feel like nobody understands. Well, I am here to tell you, I do understand. And I am sorry for your pain, what you're going through that you can't understand. And sometimes you have to seek help, whether it's therapy with a professional to deal with. I was just talking about grieving the loss of your fertility. Sometimes you might need to talk to a therapist, a professional about that to help you deal with that disappointment. Your feelings of frustration, isolation, also you have to deal with. And one of the ways is with a therapist. Another way is with the F.A.I.T.H Foundation. And that's why I started the F.A.I.T Foundation to create a support group. Because when I was going through all my pain and depression and frustration, I felt like I had nobody to go to. And that's why I created the foundation. It was born out of a real life faith experience that I will get into another time. And faith in the foundation actually stands for females taking action in support of their health, because I realized that knowledge is power. And the more you know, the more you're able to help yourself. And with the foundation, we are here to give support, to help you, to hold your hand while you're going through this difficult process. So community is very important, whether it was your friends, your family, or even with the F.A.I.T.H Foundation support group. You cannot do it on your own. And being isolated makes this process even more difficult. And the last year, as I mentioned earlier, has been a bit tough for me. And I found myself isolated. Thank God for a supportive husband. I'll shout out to my husband, my AV support right here, right now. Thank you for all of your support. The isolated, away from friends, away from your church family, away from your colleagues, because you find yourself in so much pain and so chronically ill that there's nothing else you could do but be at home. And those moments were, I would say, difficult, really, really, really difficult. I mean, there are days I really cried my eyes out because you felt so alone. I mean, I said, thank you. My husband has always been there. But you felt alone as a kid. You don't have friends to reach out to. You can't go out. You can't do this. And you have a whole long list of things you can't do because either you're in pain or you're feeling too tired or you're losing so much blood. I mean, it was just problems upon problems. So processing all that emotion, not just the physical pain, but processing that emotional pain and taking care of your mental health is really important with endometriosis. And as human beings, we are social beings. We are meant to connect with others, to go out, to laugh, to have fun. And for me, honestly, I felt like I had reached a point where I had forgotten what that was. At 40 years old, last December, on the last day of December 2024, on the 31st, I had my first counseling session in my life. And the counselor was telling me, "So, what do you do for fun?" I was like, "Fun? What is fun? I'm just here every day trying to survive." It's like I forgot what fun is. I forgot what it is to go out and laugh and smile and be happy. And I also remember that same time, end of 2024, around that same time, my husband telling me, "This is the first time I've seen you frown so much. I don't usually see you frown." And those of you who know me know I like to smile, be happy, joyful, go around life, happy. But it comes a time where life and the challenges of life, and not just with my health, there are other challenges, take a toll on you. And you have to reach out for help and not stay isolated and and depressed and feel sorry for yourself, because I'm telling you, I'm only talking about things I know myself. Feeling sorry for myself, like, oh, why me? Why do I have to go through endometriosis? I look at some of my friends going out, they don't have endometriosis to worry about. But there are other women going through endometriosis, and I am here to tell you support is there, help is there, seek it when you need it. All right, I am going on to point number 5 in this journey in womanhood, with living with endometriosis. Have some self compassion. And that's something I learned along the way. I used to be really hard on myself, really harsh on myself. But sometimes you just need to have some self compassion. Be kind to yourself. Acknowledge the impact of the condition on your life. And it does not make you less of a woman to be living and dealing with endometriosis. And this is something that's really difficult for me, and my husband will know. I've apologized to him many times. I am so sorry you have to go through this. You did not sign up for this, right? When we got married. In fact, I didn't even sign up for this in life. I always tell God, hey, I didn't sign up for this. What is this endometriosis package? But I've learned over the years to be kind to myself. to show, as I said, self-compassion, to be patient with myself. Sometimes I may feel down, and that's okay, but I must not stay down, you know. And I have a point coming up on faith, so I'll talk more about that in a bit. But be kind to yourself. Say kind words to yourself. Do not bad talk your body. I've done it. I'm telling you. It's like, oh gosh, you can never function. Nothing works in you. Like, what is your story? No. You want to love your body. You want to say, I am fearfully and wonderfully made. And God will never leave me nor forsake me. And He will help me get through this, and I will be well. And after a while, I said those things to myself. Positive affirmations, love, self compassion, ladies. All right, so we have two more points. Point number 6. There are some people I had mentioned earlier who are not going to understand what you're going through. So there'll be a stigma attached to endometriosis, and it's very disappointing that you meet it in the medical field when you go out trying to get help, and the doctors themselves do not understand endometriosis, and that's why they say it takes an average of 8 to 10 years to be diagnosed. I think I went on Google, if I remember correctly, doing research, and I saw all the symptoms of endometriosis, and I went tick, 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 tick. I tick everything on the list, and I was like, yeah, I think this is what I have. So sometimes the doctors are not going to understand, the professionals are not going to understand. There's a certain stigma attached to it, or you should fit a certain profile, or you may be too thin to have endometriosis, or you don't fit the right profile. No, we don't think you have that. No, don't accept that. If the doctor is not validating your emotions and how you feel, then I recommend you find another doctor, because endometriosis pain is real. It's one of the most painful conditions that exist. I mean, it's almost like I don't have the words to explain what happens to your body when you're having your period or post period, and that pain attacks you. And sometimes the painkillers don't work, and it's like, what else to do? I remember sometime I was still living in Diego Martin, so it's probably like 5 years ago. 5 years? No, more than 7, because it's more than 7 years ago. And I was literally lying on the couch, crying out in pain. Painkillers weren't working. And I didn't know what to do. And it was just prayers. It was like, oh Lord Jesus, help me. Help me get through this. And then you have some dark moments, because it's like, why am I going through this pain? What is this? All right. So people may not also understand your dietary changes or your lifestyle changes, because earlier I mentioned chronic inflammation. I spoke to you about chronic inflammation, right? So your body is always under attack, and it's chronically inflamed, and it's fighting itself, and it's causing you so much pain and discomfort. Some people are not going to understand why you have to change your diet, why you may eat gluten free, why you don't do sugar. You understand? Why you don't eat out. And it's not weird. It is just that these are some of the decisions, some of the options, or decisions, I would say rather, that you have taken to improve your health and reduce your inflammation. So you don't have to go around explaining to people, and people out there also without endo, be a little kind and compassionate. I mean, like, so what? You can't eat no flour, no doubles. A little doubles won't hurt you. Oh gosh, live a little bit now. Or eat some cake. Come now, eat some sugar, ice cream. It wouldn't hurt you. Just have a little dairy in it. Well, yeah, because these things trigger inflammation in the body, and it will make our situation worse. So that's why we have to change our diets to support our body to reduce inflammation and reduce pain. So be nice to us. And point number 7, we saved the best for last, and that's faith. In this journey, where you're getting to know yourself again through endometriosis and the woman you have become. So look at me here. I'm a 40-year-old woman. Who would have thought, right? Time flies. Not quite when you're having fun. I don't know if I believe that. Time flies, don't matter what. The time is not going to just not fly. So, faith in this journey, and as I said, the Faith Foundation was born out of a real life faith experience. You must have faith. You must have hope. You must believe that better days are coming. And I am so grateful, as I said earlier, for your support. I am so happy that I am doing so much better and I don't have any pain. And I look forward to getting back into life, going out again, so I could remember what it is to go out and have fun and laugh and not worry about if someone invites you to something, which many of you would understand, right? Friends will call you up and say, hey, you want to go out on the 20th of next month, blah, blah, blah. Hold on, let me check my calendar. Sorry, I'll have my period. Can't make it. I've been there for many years, and I'm sure many of you who are watching, you've been there. You have to schedule your life around this thing, and then you have pain before it arrives, your period arrives, and you have pain after. And then remember, it's a full body systemic disease. So you have back pain, leg pain, nerve pain, all sorts of pain, right? But I am here today to thank God I don't have any more pain. No more pain. Thank you, Jesus. And faith has kept me, and God's grace has kept me. And I am here today to talk on the goodness of God and give Him thanks for His grace and His mercy and His strength for delivering me from multiple surgeries over the last 8 months. I'm bringing back my smile here this evening to smile with you and to let you know that there is hope and there is faith. So don't give up. Don't give up. And that's one of also another one of my mantras. Never give up. We can't give up this fight. And I am here and we are here with the foundation to support you. The number of times I have said, hold my hand, Jesus. Hold my hand, Jesus. Don't let me go. Don't let me go. Don't let me give up. Don't let me give up on this life. You brought me into this life, Lord. You have to sustain me. I remember when I was in Atlanta, that was June 2024, and I had to have an emergency surgery. And it was like, God, you did not bring me this far to leave me. I didn't have time to call anybody to pray for me. They were just like, call your caregiver. Emergency surgery, we're going downstairs. And I had to pray for myself. I had to pray for myself. I say, Lord Jesus, hold my hand. Hold my hand, Jesus. You did not bring me this far to leave me here in Atlanta. You will be with me through this. So whatever you are going through, the pain, the suffering, the hurt, the disappointment, keep the faith. I know in Hebrews 11 it says, faith is a substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. You may not be able to see it just yet, but believe for it. Believe for this victory over endometriosis. And I know that we are not all Christian, we may not all believe in God, but trust me, I am here, alive, by God's grace, His mercy, and multiple miracles that I would share with you one day in the future. So, ladies, thank you for joining me this evening. All right. I just want to say that you are not less of a woman because of endometriosis, because it stole your fertility, because it stole your marriage. It doesn't make you less of a woman. So I want you to embrace your womanhood, your femininity, your resilience, and your strength, and move forward and search for answers, advocate for yourself, and never give up. So wishing you all a blessed evening, and I look forward to sharing more information with you. Oh, before we go, we have a workshop coming up. You can check it out on the F.A.I.T.H Foundation Facebook page. It's called Thriving with Endometriosis. So we no longer want to survive, and we no longer want to suffer. We want to thrive with endometriosis. And I want you to take back your life as I am taking back my life now, and to have a life more abundantly as God has promised us. It's happening on Sunday, the 23rd of March from 12 noon. All right, we're going to have a healthy lunch. So nobody coming in wondering what you're going to have to eat. We're going to have lunch between 12 noon and 1 p.m. We're going to mingle. We're going to smile. We're going to laugh. We're going to play some games, some warm-up activities before we get into the workshop at 1 p.m. Healthy, did I say healthy? Yes, a healthy, happy hormone lunch prepared for you there. And then we'll go into the workshop into the afternoon. It's happening at the Trinity Box Hall. And this is on Board Street in Port of Spain. So save the dates. Sunday, 23rd of March. It's happening. I look forward to sharing with you more of my story, more testimonies, and more of what I have learned about endometriosis to help you not just survive, but to thrive. So, ladies, have a blessed night and have a great evening. God bless you all. Good night.